And it's our next segment down here. Again, if you are down in the Scottsdale area today or the East Valley side and you want to pop down, we are at the City of Scottsdale's All Things Senior Expo. We're located at the Scottsdale Center for Performing Arts. And next in the hot seat today for us, we've got Kimberly Akers with Amada Senior Care. Talk to us about Amada. What's Amada do?
Well, Amada is Arizona's trusted in-home care giving agency and long-term care insurance advocacy. I know that's a lot. But we'll break it down, Tony.
We'll break it down. So, Kim, when is a family member? When do you get calls? We'll ask what they should be a little bit later. But what kind of calls do you get? What's that feel like for you? What do you feel?
That's a great question. We get a couple of different calls. So one of the calls we get is my mom's being discharged from the hospital. Or a skilled nursing facility. And she's really not back to her baseline. And we're out of state.
Right.
She needs some help in the home. So that's one type of call that we get. A second type of call is maybe that we have a spouse who is just tired. We call that the well spouse. Is caring for maybe the aging spouse or the more sickly spouse. And so they're tired and needing some respite. So those are kind of the calls that we get, is to come and help them in the home, to help them stay safe in their own home.
You hit on respite and along with all the services there. That's I think in the past we've seen that's one of the first introductions somebody might get, even if it's a family caregiver. They got to tap out for a second. They need a week to just do that. What does respite look like, and how do you guys help with? How would you guys help with something like that?
Sure. Well, before I answer that, I just want to give a quick statistic. 40% of well spouses will actually pass away before the one that they're caring for.
Wow.
So I am very passionate about saving the family, right? Saving both of them, helping them with a good quality of life. So how do we help with that respite? Well, it could be for as minimum of 12 hours a week or more to come in and just allow that family caregiver, usually it's a spouse, but it might be an adult child, to come in and just have a break. I have one lady that she plans her time to go out with the girls, right? To have lunch with her girlfriends.
That emotional well-being. Totally. I mean, oh man.
Totally. I have another lady that she goes into her craft room when our caregiver is there, because then she gets uninterrupted time. And that's what fills her bucket, right? And that's what enriches her life and allows her to have just some mental time off.
I think when a lot of family members are looking at being a family caregiver, it is insanely overwhelming. It sounds like, home care doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of thing. There are middle grounds here, right?
I love that you said that. Yes, it's not an all or nothing. It could be very minimal. And let's find that, I call it the sweet spot, right? The sweet spot that just enriches everybody's life, right? Enriches the one that we're caring for, plus the spouse or the family member, and fills their bucket. That's our mission at Amada, is to enrich lives. And so how can we do that? What's the sweet spot we can find that everybody is enriched?
You are not just here in Scottsdale. You guys are across the East Valley of Phoenix. Is that correct?
We are. So North Phoenix, Scottsdale, and all of the East Valley. Okay,
fantastic. And where can people get more information on Amada and to talk with you guys?
Yes, they can go to amadamesa.com. Or you can call our number that will be shown, right? Or do you need me to give that?
If you want to give it, you can give it to
480-999-5250. But we also do an extra service. Do you mind me talking about that?
Would you please? Yeah, go ahead.
We are experts in long-term care insurance, so private long-term care insurance. What that means is I grew up in the insurance world. So I know how to read those policies that have a lot of insurance ease.
Sure. Yep.
And many times when seniors are wanting to use that policy that they purchased a long time ago, it becomes very complicated. And so I am an expert on how to make sure that policy sings
That is fantastic. So, at home and into our audience, we talk often about the ADLs, the activities of daily living, how to just kind of keep a tap on your parents. That's one way to just see what they're capable of doing on their own or where the help needs to step in. So if I'm at home and I'm seeing that some of those ADLs are something that I can't step in for full time, that's a great time for us to start giving a call there. And it sounds like you guys can also help us understand what activates our long-term care insurance policies to help us.
Exactly.
That's
And go
great.
through that whole claims process because
Yeah.
it is quite consuming.
It really is. And it's confusing.
Yes.
It's something that we just put off. We don't want to talk. It's like Social Security, right? We'll get there someday and until. But it sounds like it would really behoove families to have some level of pre-planning on this to understand who they might turn to. The reality is, injuries happen. We see all the time. You don't want to be making that call if you don't have to at the moment where you can't leave the hospital until you develop what the solution is. That's a very stressful situation. I imagine you guys get that pretty often, though, it sounds like.
We get that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
It's those are hard conversations to have in crisis moments.
Right.
And in fact, we are hosting a lunch and learn for long-term care policy owners on March 15th at Babbo Italian Eatery. And it's to learn about your policy. So a little bit of the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
And how to trigger or activate it.
Yeah.
Before crisis happens, right? Before that time of being overwhelmed in the hospital and there's so much information to absorb. Yeah. On many different levels.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So if you're starting to pre-plan off of that, or if you're in emergency, this is clearly a great solution for you. Kim, thank you so much for joining us today and talking to us about your company. Thank you. And we'll be back from the floor of the Scottsdale Center of Performing Arts and the Scottsdale's All Things Senior Expo after this.